last night. Your person was so out of control in front of their relatives that they completely lost it. And then, right there, they stood up and said, "Listen, everyone, my beloved child, last night was not supposed to turn into a memory that would shake an entire bloodline, but something snapped in the air, something invisible yet heavy, and everyone in that living room felt it at the same exact second." The relatives were laughing, plates were clinking, soft music was playing in the background, and yet, there was a silence hiding behind all of it, waiting for its moment. Your person was sitting there, smiling on the outside, nodding politely, absorbing every comment, every judgment disguised as concern. You could feel it building, even if no one else noticed. Their fingers kept tightening around the glass, their breath slightly off rhythm, their eyes scanning faces that claimed love but carried expectations like knives wrapped in velvet. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this was not just a family gathering, it was a pressure chamber, and last night, the walls finally gave up. One sentence from a relative landed wrong, not loud, not rude, just sharp enough to reopen an old wound. The room laughed. Your person didn't. That's when the shift happened. A tiny pause. A long inhale. The kind that feels like the world is about to tilt. Everyone thought it would pass, like it always does. But this time, it didn't. This time, your person didn't swallow it. This time, they chose to stand on the truth instead of hiding under silence. And right there, in front of people who thought they knew them, something irreversible began. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. No one saw it coming, not the uncle mid-story, not the aunt adjusting her shawl, not even the ones who claimed to be closest. The chair scraped against the floor, loud enough to cut through the noise, and suddenly every eye turned. Your person stood up slowly, not in anger, not in drama, but with a calm that was far more terrifying than shouting. The room froze. You could feel hearts beating faster, because when someone who always stays quiet finally stands, it means the storm has already passed inside them. Their voice didn't shake, but the air did. Sentence by sentence, they peeled back years of pretending, years of being the good one, years of carrying labels they never chose. Faces shifted from curiosity to discomfort. Some tried to interrupt. Some smiled nervously. Some looked away. But your person didn't stop. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what they were building was not just a speech, it was a confession mixed with a warning. Every word carried weight. Every pause was intentional. The room realized too late that this wasn't about one argument or one bad night. This was about an identity that had been buried alive under expectations. And then came the sentence that made everyone's breath catch, the sentence that connected every stare in that room, the sentence that made silence scream louder than sound. Listen, everyone. They paused again. Long enough for fear to settle. Long enough for curiosity to burn. Long enough for the truth to feel inevitable. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What happened next changed everything, and even now, people replay that moment in their minds, wondering how they missed the signs for so long. Your person's eyes were steady, almost gentle, as if they had already accepted the consequences before speaking the next words. This wasn't rebellion, it was release. This wasn't disrespect, it was survival. The room leaned in without realizing it, pulled by the gravity of a truth that refuses to stay hidden forever. Your person spoke about masks, about roles forced on them since childhood, about smiles that were practiced and silence that was learned. Some relatives felt exposed. Some felt guilty. Some felt angry. But none of them could look away. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because right before revealing who they truly were, your person said something that cracked even the strongest faces in that room. I'm done shrinking to make others comfortable. That line hung there, heavy, undeniable. And then, just when everyone thought they were ready, just when they believed they could handle the truth, your person took one final breath and said, The room stopped breathing. The story didn't end there. It paused, intentionally, powerfully, leaving every listener suspended between who they thought they knew and who was about to be revealed. And that revelation, that's where everything truly begins. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before anyone could process what was happening, the silence thickened like time itself had slowed down to watch this moment breathe. Your person didn't rush the words. They understood something powerful. Anticipation hurts more than truth. Every relative sat frozen, caught between fear and curiosity, because unfinished sentences are dangerous. They force people to confront their own assumptions. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The room felt smaller now, like the walls were listening too. Your person's voice returned, calmer than expected, almost compassionate, as if they weren't just speaking to others, but finally speaking to themselves. They talked about how long they had lived a life that looked perfect from the outside but felt like a costume stitched too tight on the inside. Eyes softened. A few jaws clenched. This wasn't a breakdown, it was a breakthrough. Your person explained how being misunderstood became normal, how silence turned into a habit, how being acceptable slowly erased being authentic. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. And just when the room thought the storm had passed, your person leaned slightly forward and said, I know this truth will change how you see me, but hiding it has been killing me slowly. That's when a few relatives shifted uncomfortably, realizing this wasn't about rebellion. It was about liberation. The sentence, still hung in the air, unfinished, louder than anything already said. Then came the reactions, not spoken, but written all over their faces like open books they forgot to close. One cousin looked shocked, another confused, an elder looked betrayed, and someone in the corner looked like they finally understood years of distance. Your person noticed everything. They always had. That's why their next words landed even harder. They said that being loved conditionally isn't love, it's a contract, and they were done signing agreements that required self-erasure. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The room wasn't just listening anymore, it was confronting itself. Your person explained that the truth they were about to reveal wasn't meant to hurt anyone, but it wasn't meant to comfort them either. It was meant to be honest. A relative tried to interrupt with a laugh, another with concern, but your person gently raised a hand, not in aggression, but in boundary. That single gesture spoke volumes. This was someone reclaiming their voice after years of loaning it out to keep peace. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. And before saying the final words, your person added something no one expected. If you're hearing this and feeling uncomfortable, imagine how uncomfortable it was living it. That line didn't just silence the room, it humbled it. Right here is where I ask you, if this story is pulling you in, don't just watch quietly. Share this with someone who believes in truth. Drop a comment if you've ever felt unseen. And subscribe, because stories like this don't come twice. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What followed was the moment of no return, the kind of moment that splits life into before and after. Your person straightened their shoulders, not in defiance, but in acceptance. They weren't asking for permission anymore. They weren't negotiating their existence. They were claiming it. The room leaned in again, not out of curiosity now, but necessity. Everyone needed to know. Your person's voice softened, almost trembling for the first time, not from fear, but from relief finally being allowed to exist. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They said, I've carried this alone long enough, and in that sentence was every sleepless night, every forced smile, every time they were told to adjust, to wait, to be patient. The words, came again, closer now, heavier, undeniable. Some relatives already looked regretful, others defensive, because truth doesn't ask for readiness. It arrives when it's done waiting. Your person took one final breath, eyes briefly closing, as if stepping out of a shadow they'd lived in for years. And just before revealing it all, they said, after tonight, nothing will be the same, and that's exactly the point. The truth was seconds away. The kind of truth that doesn't just reveal who someone is, but exposes who everyone else has been. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The room felt fragile, like one wrong breath could shatter everything that had been built over generations. Your person finally spoke again, and this time the words didn't circle the truth, they walked straight toward it. I'm a person who has been living half a life, they said, and that sentence alone sent a quiet shock through everyone present. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They explained how hiding became second nature, how approval slowly replaced happiness, how being praised for fitting in felt worse than being criticized for standing out. Every listener could sense it now, this wasn't about shocking anyone, it was about survival. Your person wasn't asking to be understood, only to be seen. The unfinished confession still hovered in the air, pressing on every chest in that room, because the closer truth gets, the heavier it feels. Some relatives wanted it to end. Others needed it to continue. And your person knew that once the final words were spoken, there would be no way back. A strange thing happened next, something no one expected. Instead of resistance, the room filled with memories. Old arguments suddenly made sense. Long silences gained meaning. Awkward distance now had a reason. Your person spoke about moments they were dismissed as too sensitive, too different, too much, and how those labels slowly taught them to disappear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Their voice stayed steady, but their eyes carried years of unspoken exhaustion. This wasn't anger spilling out, it was truth finally breathing. A few relatives shifted, realizing they weren't just listeners in this story, they were characters in it. The truth has a way of doing that. It turns observers into participants. And right there, your person made something clear: whatever was about to be revealed was not a phase, not a rebellion, not a moment of weakness. It was the most honest version of themselves stepping forward after years of being locked away. Time seemed to pause, as if even the walls needed a second to prepare. Your person lowered their voice, not for secrecy, but for gravity. "This isn't something I discovered yesterday," they said. "It's something I've known for a long time and tried to outrun. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." The weight of that admission settled deep. This wasn't impulsive. This wasn't emotional chaos. This was clarity earned through pain. The words, "I'm a," returned one last time, closer than ever, standing right at the edge of revelation. Every face in that room reflected a different fear, a different hope, a different regret. Your person inhaled slowly, fully, like someone about to step into light after years underground. The truth was no longer hiding. It was ready. And when it finally comes out, nothing, absolutely nothing, will remain the same. The moment arrived without warning, not loud, not dramatic, but powerful enough to rearrange every heart in that room. Your person finally completed the sentence everyone had been holding their breath for. "I'm a truth I was told to hide," they said, letting the words land before continuing, "and I refuse to disappear anymore. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." The revelation wasn't about labels, it was about ownership. It was about choosing honesty over comfort, self-respect over approval. Some relatives looked relieved, some stunned, some quiet in a way that spoke louder than words. The room didn't erupt. It transformed. Because when someone stands in their truth without apology, it forces everyone else to confront theirs. Your person wasn't asking to be celebrated. They were asking to exist fully, without editing themselves for anyone's peace. And in that moment, something ancient broke, an old cycle of silence that had survived for far too long. What followed was not chaos, but clarity, the kind that feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. A few people nodded slowly, others avoided eye contact, but no one laughed, no one dismissed it. Your person had changed the rules simply by being honest. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They ended by saying, "You don't have to understand me today, but you will not erase me again." That sentence settled deep, not just in that room, but in anyone who has ever felt unseen. And if this story is hitting somewhere inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs courage. Leave a comment if you've ever hidden a part of who you are. Subscribe, because stories like this are not entertainment, they are reminders. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The night didn't end with applause, it ended with truth standing tall, unshaken, undeniable. Some relationships would change. Some conversations would finally begin. Some masks would never fit the same again. And your person? They sat back down, lighter, calmer, no longer carrying a secret that wasn't meant to be carried alone. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the biggest revelation wasn't what they said, it was what they proved. That living honestly may cost you comfort, but it gives you yourself. And once someone chooses that, there is no going back. This wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of a life lived out loud. The aftermath was quieter than anyone expected, but silence doesn't always mean peace, it often means reflection. Your person noticed how conversations restarted slowly, cautiously, like everyone was walking on new ground they didn't yet understand. Some relatives avoided the topic entirely, others tried to act normal, but nothing was normal anymore. And that was the point. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when truth enters a room, it doesn't leave when the night ends. It stays in glances, in pauses, in the way people rethink their words. Your person felt it too, less fear, more clarity. Not relief like everything was fixed, but relief like the weight was finally shared. For the first time, they weren't replaying conversations in their head, wondering what they should have said. They had already said it. Fully. Honestly. And that kind of freedom is unsettling for people who benefit from your silence. Later that night, when the lights dimmed and everyone began to leave, something unexpected happened. A relative paused, just for a second, and said softly, "I didn't know you felt that way." It wasn't an apology. It wasn't acceptance. But it was a crack. And cracks are how light gets in. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person realized then that truth doesn't always bring instant understanding, but it plants something. A question. A doubt. A chance. Not everyone would change, and that was okay. The goal was never approval. The goal was alignment. Walking away from that room, your person wasn't sure what tomorrow would look like, but for the first time, it looked real. No scripts. No pretending. Just breath and honesty moving forward together. And here's the part most people miss, the real revelation hiding beneath everything you've heard. When someone finally speaks their truth, they don't just change their own life. They quietly give permission to others. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Somewhere in that family, someone went home thinking differently. Somewhere, a silence felt heavier than before. Somewhere, a mask felt tighter. Your person didn't just stand up for themselves last night, they disrupted a pattern that had existed for years. And that's why this story matters. Because courage is contagious. Because truth doesn't need volume, it needs timing. And because once you choose yourself in front of the people who taught you to hide, you never truly go back. The night ended, but the impact had only just begun. Morning arrived differently, not with noise, but with a strange stillness that felt earned. Your person woke up knowing something fundamental had shifted, even if the world outside looked the same. The ceiling was familiar, the light felt normal, but inside, there was space, real space, where fear used to live. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. For the first time, there was no urge to replay the night obsessively, no inner voice questioning every word spoken. The truth had already done its work. Your person understood something powerful now. Once you say it out loud, it loses its power over you. The reactions, the silence, the confusion, all of that belonged to others. What mattered was this calm, this grounded sense of, I didn't run. And that realization hit harder than any argument ever could. This wasn't about bravery anymore, it was about integrity. About waking up without betraying yourself. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the day unfolded, small things started to feel different. Messages came in, some supportive, some awkward, some completely unrelated but heavy with unsaid meaning. Your person read them without rushing to respond, because urgency no longer controlled them. That's the quiet power of truth, it teaches you patience with yourself. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They noticed how even criticism felt lighter now, like it couldn't reach the core anymore. When you stop hiding, words lose their sharpest edge. Your person realized they had crossed an invisible line, the line where approval stops being currency. They weren't waiting to be chosen anymore. They had already chosen themselves. And that choice doesn't scream. It settles. It anchors. It rewrites how you walk into every room afterward. Even the future felt different, not clear, not easy, but honest. And honesty, once tasted, is impossible to give up. Here is the truth most people never talk about, the final layer beneath everything you've heard. When someone finally lives out loud, the world doesn't collapse, it adjusts. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Some people drift away, some lean closer, and some remain exactly where they are. And that's okay. Because the real win was never changing others. It was ending the war inside. Your person didn't gain a perfect ending, they gained a real beginning. A life where silence is a choice, not a cage. A future where standing up once makes it easier every time after. Last night wasn't a breakdown. It was a boundary written in truth. And once that boundary exists, nothing, absolutely nothing, can put you back where you were. What people didn't see was the invisible shift, the one that doesn't announce itself but changes everything that follows. Your person started moving differently through the world, not louder, not harder, just more real. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The way they spoke, the way they listened, even the way they paused before answering questions, it all carried a new weight. Not heaviness, but certainty. They no longer felt the need to explain themselves in advance or soften their edges to be accepted. And that scared some people, because certainty doesn't ask for permission. It simply exists. Your person understood now that the truth they spoke that night wasn't a single moment, it was a line they would never step back over. Every future decision would come from that place. Every yes would mean something. Every no would be clean. And once you live like that, you realize how much energy you wasted surviving instead of living. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came the quiet realizations, the ones that arrive when no one is watching. Your person noticed how certain dynamics lost their grip, how guilt didn't land the same way, how emotional pressure felt easier to recognize and step away from. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They realized that some people only loved the version of you that stayed silent, and that was never love to begin with. This understanding didn't make them bitter, it made them free. Because when you stop chasing validation, you start attracting alignment. Your person wasn't trying to be understood by everyone anymore. They were focused on being honest with themselves. And that honesty acted like a filter. Some connections faded, others grew stronger, but none stayed fake. That's the hidden cost and reward of truth. You lose what was never real, and you gain space for what is. And here is where it all lands, the final truth that ties everything together. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Last night wasn't about shocking relatives or making a statement. It was about choosing a life that doesn't require hiding. Your person didn't become someone new, they stopped pretending to be someone else. And that decision echoes forward, quietly but permanently. If this story feels personal, it's because it is. It's about anyone who's ever stayed silent to keep peace, anyone who's ever been afraid of their own truth. Remember this, the moment you stand up for who you are, the world adjusts, or it moves aside. Either way, you move forward. And once you do, there is no version of you that ever fits back into the old cage again. The final realization came slowly, not as a dramatic moment, but as a deep, steady knowing that settled into your person's bones. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They understood now that courage isn't loud declarations every day, it's the quiet refusal to betray yourself again. The world didn't suddenly become kinder, but it became clearer. And clarity is dangerous to old patterns. Your person noticed how they no longer rehearsed conversations in their head, no longer edited their thoughts before speaking, no longer shrank to fit rooms that were never built for them. That night had done something permanent. It removed the option of going back. Once truth is spoken, silence becomes a choice, not a prison. And that choice feels different. Lighter. Stronger. Honest. What truly changed was internal, and that's the part most people underestimate. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person stopped measuring their worth through reactions. Approval lost its power. Disapproval lost its threat. They realized that peace doesn't come from agreement, it comes from alignment. Even loneliness felt different now, because it wasn't filled with self-abandonment anymore. It was clean, intentional, temporary. The fear that once controlled them had nothing left to feed on. When you stop hiding, fear starves. And in that space where fear used to live, something else grew: self-respect. Not arrogance. Not ego. Just the calm understanding that you deserve to exist without apology. And this is where the story truly ends, not with a cliffhanger, but with a truth you can carry with you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The biggest revelation wasn't what your person said in front of everyone, it was what they decided privately, afterward. That they would never again trade their truth for temporary peace. That they would never again disappear to make others comfortable. That they would live in a way that doesn't require explanations to people committed to misunderstanding them. Last night wasn't a moment of chaos. It was a declaration of self-loyalty. And once that declaration is made, life doesn't become easier, but it becomes real. And real is always worth it. What stayed with them the longest wasn't the faces, the words, or the reactions, it was the feeling of finally being aligned with themselves. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Days passed, routines returned, but something subtle refused to fade. Your person noticed how decisions came easier now. No second guessing. No inner negotiation. When you stop lying to yourself, clarity becomes your default state. They understood that the cost of truth is paid once, but the cost of hiding is paid every single day. And they had already paid enough. The night that once felt terrifying now felt necessary, almost sacred. Not because it was perfect, but because it was honest. And honesty leaves a mark you can't erase, even if you try. People around them adjusted in quiet ways, some with distance, some with curiosity, some with unexpected respect. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. A few conversations never happened again. A few new ones began without warning. And that's how life reorganizes itself after truth, without asking for permission. Your person realized something important. You don't need everyone to understand you, you only need to understand yourself. The need to explain faded. The need to defend disappeared. When questions came, they answered calmly. When judgment appeared, they didn't chase it away or invite it in. They let it pass. That's what happens when your center is solid. The world can react however it wants, it no longer defines you. And here is the quiet ending, the kind that doesn't demand attention but deserves it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person didn't become fearless, they became honest despite fear. And that distinction changes everything. The story didn't end with approval, applause, or instant peace. It ended with self-trust. With the knowledge that no matter what rooms they walk into next, they will not leave themselves behind. Last night was not about losing control. It was about taking it back. And once control is reclaimed from silence, from expectation, from fear, there is no force strong enough to take it away again. The meaning of that night kept unfolding, layer by layer, like a truth that refuses to stay quiet. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person realized that moments like these don't announce their importance when they happen, you only understand later that a line was crossed forever. What once felt like fear now looked like a doorway. They understood that losing control wasn't weakness, it was the release of a self that had been restrained for too long. From that point on, every interaction carried a new honesty. Not aggressive. Not defensive. Just real. And real has a way of making everything else fall away naturally. The biggest shift was this, and listen carefully. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person no longer waited to be understood before living truthfully. They lived truthfully first. Understanding became optional. That single change rewired everything: relationships, boundaries, choices, even silence itself. Silence was no longer fear-driven, it was intentional. And intention is power. The world didn't suddenly applaud, but it respected the firmness. Because when someone stops explaining their existence, people feel it. Some resist it. Some admire it. But no one ignores it. This is where the story closes, not with noise, but with certainty. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Last night was the last time your person chose comfort over truth. The last time they shrank to fit expectations that were never meant for them. From here on, life moves forward with fewer apologies and clearer steps. Not easier. Just honest. And honesty, once chosen, becomes a compass you never lose again. By now, the truth had settled in, not as a memory, but as a new foundation. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person noticed that even when doubts tried to return, they didn't have the same strength. The old fear knew it had lost its authority. When you face something you were once terrified of, it shrinks forever. That night had rewritten their internal rules. No more self-betrayal disguised as peace. No more silence mistaken for maturity. They understood that protecting your truth is not selfish, it's necessary. And once you accept that, you stop apologizing for existing the way you were meant to. What surprised them most was the respect, the quiet kind that doesn't come with words. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Some people who once dismissed them now spoke carefully. Others kept their distance, sensing boundaries they could no longer cross. Your person didn't chase either reaction. Because when your identity is no longer negotiable, reactions become background noise. They felt grounded in a way they never had before. Even uncertainty felt manageable, because it wasn't mixed with pretending anymore. They had learned the difference between being alone and abandoning yourself, and they chose never to do the second again. This is the lasting truth, the one that remains long after the night fades. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. When someone finally stands in who they are, the world may question them, but they stop questioning themselves. And that is real power. The story didn't end with answers for everyone else. It ended with clarity for one person. And that clarity is enough to change a lifetime. What remained after everything settled was not noise, not conflict, but a deep internal stillness your person had never known before. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They realized that peace doesn't arrive when others finally accept you, it arrives when you stop waiting for that acceptance. The night that once felt heavy now felt complete, like a chapter that closed exactly when it was supposed to. Your person no longer measured moments by how safe they felt, but by how honest they were. That shift changed everything. Fear still existed, but it no longer controlled the direction. Truth was now in the driver's seat, calm and steady, guiding every next step. The future didn't suddenly become clear, but it became real, and that mattered more. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person understood that not every door would open, but the right ones would. They stopped forcing belonging where it required silence. They stopped explaining themselves to people committed to misunderstanding them. And with that, life became lighter, not because it was easier, but because it was no longer divided. Inside and outside finally matched. There was no second version to maintain, no mask to adjust. Just one self, standing fully, consistently, without apology. And this is the final echo of that night, the truth that carries forward long after the words fade. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. When you choose yourself in the presence of those who taught you to hide, you don't just change a moment, you change your trajectory. Your person didn't lose control that night. They reclaimed it. And once control is reclaimed from fear, from expectation, from silence, it never truly leaves again. This wasn't just an ending. It was the moment life finally started moving in the right direction. Time kept moving, but your person no longer felt rushed by it, and that alone felt like a miracle. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They realized how much of their life had been spent reacting. Reacting to opinions, to pressure, to unspoken rules. Now, for the first time, they were responding instead of reacting. There is a quiet authority in that shift. Conversations didn't control their mood anymore. Expectations didn't decide their worth. Even when doubt appeared, it didn't stay long, because truth had already taken its place at the center. That night had done something permanent. It taught them that authenticity is not a risk, it's a requirement. What changed next was subtle but powerful, almost invisible to others. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person began choosing differently, what to tolerate, what to walk away from, what to protect. They stopped explaining their boundaries as if they were mistakes. They stopped shrinking their needs to fit into conversations that were never meant to hold them. And in doing so, they noticed something unexpected. Life met them with the same honesty they were finally giving themselves. Some opportunities faded. Better ones appeared. Some people left. Truer connections stayed. Nothing was forced anymore. And nothing real ever needs to be. This is where the story settles, not into silence, but into strength. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person understood that the bravest thing they ever did wasn't standing up in that room, it was staying true afterward. Day after day. Choice after choice. That's the part no one applauds, but it's the part that changes everything. Last night may have been the spark, but this steady, honest way of living, is the fire that never goes out. With every passing day, the echo of that night grew clearer, not louder, but sharper. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person noticed how situations that once drained them now revealed themselves early. Red flags appeared faster. Manipulation felt obvious. Emotional games lost their mystery. When you stop hiding, your intuition gets stronger, because it's no longer buried under fear. They trusted themselves more now, not blindly, but deeply. And that trust became a shield. Not against the world, but against self-doubt. They no longer asked, "Am I allowed to feel this?" They asked, "Is this aligned with who I am?" That single question changed how they lived. There was also grief, quiet and honest, for the years spent being smaller than they were meant to be. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. But it wasn't bitter grief, it was respectful. Acknowledging survival. Forgiving the version of themselves that did what it had to do to get here. Your person understood that growth doesn't erase the past, it integrates it. The silence they once carried wasn't weakness, it was preparation. And now, that preparation had purpose. They weren't ashamed of who they used to be. They were grateful they didn't stay there. That realization brought a depth of peace no approval ever could. This is the quiet power they now carry, and it doesn't need proof. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person walks forward knowing that even if the world misunderstands them, they will not misunderstand themselves again. That is the kind of certainty that doesn't shout, but it never bends. The night that began with losing control ended with gaining direction. And once direction is clear, no storm can truly knock you off course. At some point, they stopped thinking about that night every day, and that's how they knew healing had begun. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The memory didn't disappear, it transformed. It no longer carried fear or tension, it carried proof. Proof that they could survive honesty. Proof that the worst thing they imagined didn't destroy them. Proof that standing in truth doesn't end your world, it corrects it. Your person understood now that growth isn't loud progress, it's quiet consistency. Waking up and choosing the same honesty again. Speaking without rehearsing. Walking away without guilt. Staying without shrinking. That night became a reference point, not a wound. A reminder of who they are when they stop negotiating their own existence. Life continued to test them, because it always does. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. But the tests felt different now. They weren't about endurance anymore. They were about alignment. Situations appeared where silence would have been easier, but silence no longer felt safe. Comfort knocked, but it required compromise. And for the first time, your person didn't hesitate. They chose the harder truth over the softer lie, not because it made them strong, but because it made them whole. They learned that peace doesn't come from avoiding tension, it comes from ending internal conflict. And once that conflict ends, external chaos loses its grip. That's a power few people ever experience. This is the lasting legacy of that night, the truth beneath all truths. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person didn't just reclaim their voice, they reclaimed authorship of their life. No longer living as a reaction to others, but as a decision made daily. That is what real control looks like. Quiet. Steady. Unshakable. The night everyone thought they lost it was the night they finally found it. And once something like that is found, it is never lost again. Eventually, something surprising happened, something your person never planned for. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The fear of being seen faded so much that it was replaced by something stronger, presence. They didn't enter rooms wondering how they would be perceived anymore. They entered as they were. And that changed the energy instantly. People responded differently. Some leaned in. Some backed away. But none of it felt personal, because your person was no longer performing. When you stop performing, you stop bleeding energy. And when you stop bleeding energy, you finally have enough to live. That's when they realized, the cost of hiding was always higher than the cost of truth. They also noticed a deeper shift inside, one that had nothing to do with others. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The inner dialogue changed. The voice that once questioned every feeling, every decision, every desire, went quiet. Not silent, but supportive. Your person learned to trust their own signals again, discomfort, excitement, hesitation. These weren't weaknesses anymore, they were guidance. That's what happens when you stop gaslighting yourself to keep others comfortable. You begin to hear yourself clearly. And clarity is addictive. It makes you intolerant of half-truths, half-lives, and half-versions of yourself. Once you taste that clarity, there's no pretending it away. This is where the journey truly stabilizes, and listen closely. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person understood that courage isn't a moment, it's maintenance. It's choosing yourself again after the applause fades. After the reactions settle. After life tries to pull you back into old roles. And they chose it. Quietly. Consistently. That's why this story matters. Not because of one night, but because of what followed. The night was the spark. But this steady refusal to disappear again, is the fire that keeps burning. There came a day when your person realized something quietly profound, and it didn't arrive with drama or celebration. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They noticed that they no longer feared being misunderstood. That fear had once controlled so many decisions, so many silences. Now it had no grip. Being misunderstood no longer felt like danger, it felt like clarity. If someone couldn't see them, that information was useful. It told them where not to pour their energy. And that awareness brought peace. When you stop trying to correct every wrong perception, you free yourself from invisible labor you were never meant to carry. They also began to notice how strong their boundaries had become, without aggression, without explanation. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Boundaries weren't walls, they were filters. They didn't shut people out, they revealed who belonged. Your person didn't argue their limits anymore. They lived them. And living them spoke louder than any defense ever could. People adjusted, or they didn't. Either way, your person stayed rooted. That rootedness changed how life responded. Stress had less access. Manipulation lost its leverage. Emotional chaos no longer felt personal. When you know who you are, confusion can't convince you otherwise. This is the truth that closes this chapter, the one that deserves to be remembered. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person didn't become untouchable, they became unmovable in who they are. And that is a different kind of strength. The night that once looked like losing control was actually the moment they stopped living on other people's terms. From that point on, life didn't get easier, but it got honest. And honesty, once chosen, becomes the ground you stand on. No matter where you go next. One day, almost without noticing, your person stopped introducing themselves through apologies. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They no longer softened their presence to make others comfortable, no longer wrapped their truth in explanations so it could be swallowed easily. They spoke plainly. They existed plainly. And that simplicity carried more power than any performance ever did. It wasn't arrogance. It was acceptance. Acceptance of who they were and who they were not willing to be anymore. That night had taught them a lesson few people ever learn: you don't need to convince anyone of your reality when you are living it fully. Reality speaks for itself. What also changed was how they handled loss, because truth always comes with it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Some connections faded quietly, without arguments or closure. And surprisingly, it didn't hurt the way it once would have. Your person understood that not everything that leaves is a loss, some things are released. Released because they were tied to a version of you that no longer exists. They stopped mourning what required self-betrayal to maintain. Instead, they protected what felt mutual, respectful, real. And in doing so, they felt lighter. When you stop carrying relationships that depend on silence, you free space for ones that can survive honesty. That space matters more than numbers. And here is the calm truth that remains, steady and unshakable. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person no longer wonders if they did the right thing that night. They know. Not because everything turned out perfectly, but because they turned out aligned. That alignment became their compass. Wherever life takes them next, they will recognize themselves in it. And that is the real ending of this story. Not closure, not validation, but self-recognition. Once you have that, nothing can convince you to disappear again. Eventually, the story stopped feeling like something that happened to them and started feeling like something they chose. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. That shift matters more than anything else. Your person realized that reclaiming control wasn't about one bold moment, it was about ownership. Ownership of their voice. Their space. Their pace. They stopped narrating their life as a reaction to others and began living it as a decision. And with that came a deep, steady confidence. Not loud. Not performative. Just present. The kind of confidence that doesn't need agreement to exist. When you stop asking for permission to be yourself, the world either adjusts, or reveals it was never meant to hold you. They also noticed how peace became practical, not poetic. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Peace showed up in everyday choices: who to answer, what to ignore, when to leave, when to stay. It wasn't about escaping conflict, it was about not creating it inside anymore. Your person didn't waste energy proving their growth. They lived it. And that living rewrote patterns that once felt permanent. Old triggers lost their grip. Old fears lost their urgency. Because when you know your truth, urgency fades. You no longer rush to explain. You no longer chase understanding. You move at the speed of alignment, and that speed is always right. This is the quiet conclusion forming beneath everything, the truth that doesn't announce itself but lasts. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person didn't just survive that night, they integrated it. It became part of who they are without defining them completely. A reminder, not a rule. From here on, life doesn't revolve around hiding or proving. It revolves around choosing what feels real and letting the rest fall away. And once a life is built on truth instead of fear, it doesn't need drama to feel meaningful. It just needs consistency. And that is what your person finally has.